Beep, 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 beep.
This is going great.
I can hear you now.
Oh,
So we've made progress. You sound great.
great.
Great. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh. Got the streamer lights.
This did not delay things today, surprisingly.
Sure.
I'm serious. I came in this morning. It's like, time for a little 3S upgrades. And put the lights up. And then nothing worked on my computer that normally works. So who knows?
You're really not helping your case of people thinking you're like a full-time streamer.
I can't.
Maybe you are.
I can't change them now. They're on my phone, the settings, but I can make it rave
Oh, yeah.
or just.
It's pretty on-brand blue. Pretty close. Did you tune that to be
Yeah.
PVX blue?
Alexa, set
Yeah.
Brutus lights to red.
Oh, I'm impressed. Just casual drink of your soda.
Store brand seltzer water. Fancy.
Mm.
No, I was finishing this part actually. It was like on the last side, and I was like, crap, we're about to start.
It was funny because you posted about the robot vacuum, and then your next story was like this huge cylindrical billet of aluminium. I was like, oh, is he making one?
We made it. It's like a tiny one.
DIY?
DIY? God, that sounds like a nightmare project that I would never finish. No, this is like a flange that goes on our hold down vacuums. If you
On your hairdryers.
Yes. If you buy the motor yourself off the internet, it does not come with said flange to connect to the manifold. So we make them, save a bit of money.
Uh-huh. Cool.
So I think we're gonna sell them pretty low cost because other people also would like to do the same, and they're really easy to make. I found out.
Cool. So why are you making? Because you've got new hairdryers, or
We've been running on 3 of 4 vacuums for a long time because I've been intending to
Right.
replace this, and we haven't actually really fully needed 4, which is interesting. I had a bunch of billets to machine. I'd never made a soft jaw before, so that was new. I never machined round stock of this size. It's like 7 1/4 inches. I was also concerned once I turned it over that it would just basically fly away or vibrate like mad, so I made it a little thicker, and it turned out good.
yeah, looks good. Nice one.
It's fun. It kind of made me like a real machinist. Yeah.
I've connected an Ethernet cable in the desperate hope that it'll reduce the lag connection.
That would make some sense.
I'm sure it will do nothing.
It's
I
always
don't know.
it's always most apparent when you're editing, and then I'm sure some people can tell
I know.
when we don't edit out our talking over each other.
Yep. No, this is a pretty exciting top point you've got noted here. What's the deal?
We've made a hire. It's,
No way.
It's a small hire. It cleans the floors. We got our little robot vacuum cleaner that I've been wanting to do forever. I've just thought it was a great, like, we've had cheap ones at my house, under $100 ones, and I finally upgraded after like proving that it was like, okay, this is good. We have a dog usually, and sometimes we have more than one dog through fostering and stuff like that. So it's always a mess. And it's been really great to like have something just clean up not think about it, right? It's like have the robot do the robot thing and not vacuum yourself. And I ended up getting one that does like a little bit of emptying on a sale recently. So it goes back, empties itself, and keeps going, because basically 10 minutes into vacuuming even a modest sized home, it's full, and then it just pushes stuff around after that because it doesn't know. So that was my first like, oh, there's something here. But then I always wanted the Makita like big boy $1,200 shop vacuum robot. Have you seen this thing?
It's I want that vac so bad.
It's like, I think it's like 0.7.
I want 2 of them.
It's like a liter maybe of space inside of it.
Try 2.5 liters. It's the big boy.
It's like huge capacity.
They're enormous.
Supposedly they're pretty stupid. They don't have any intelligence, and they just run into stuff repeatedly. And
makes it more adorable.
yeah. So the $1,200 cost was always just like, man, I don't know. Like, that's a lot of money for something that just sweeps. And, the ROI in my head was always like, yeah, it's probably there, but I just can't. That's too much. So I was watching for sales on them. They never really went on sale. And finally I was like, what if I just take the one I have at home and put it in the shop and see how it works? So like I found a good deal on one of those for like $280. And yesterday was its starting day. And we threw it out in the shop and let it go explore because it like maps the space.
How did it go?
It's been amazing.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I think part of the key is like to not just have a complete disaster, right? Like you can't have a bunch of stuff for it to get caught on, but like that also is kind of just good workshop space, right? Like not having cords everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think it would do well with like a bunch of giant chips, but my goal with it is to reduce the kind of like fine dust as well as just like normal detritus that's all over your shop floor that we don't sit around and sweep the whole shop, every week. It was noticeably cleaner after it ran the whole shop this morning in about an hour 15, I think, which depends on your shop size, obviously.
Fantastic. Yeah, that Makita vac has been like high on my toy purchase list for years now.
Yes.
Just really want it. I've never been able to justify it. It's so good.
I know
I like to be a bit dumb and just kind of roll around and bump into things. Be like another shop dog. Cool. Come here.
I'm going to make a little video on it, and I filmed Ricky. I might be out actually by the time we publish this. I'll put it in the notes if possible, but I've always wanted to like try it and then like make like a faux tech review about it for a shop. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And so I purposely didn't tell Ricky about it, and then I had it set out and do its exploratory phase thing where it kind of goes and maps it, and I just saw Ricky turn over and go, and he kind of like laughed at it. And then I was like, well, it's it's gonna help us, hopefully not clean as much. And he's like, does it talk? And I was like, I really wish it did. And he's like, I really wish it would just grumble as it went cleaning, around the shop, like complain as it bumps into stuff. And I was like, God, that'd be great, actually.
That'd be fantastic.
It's
we had a new starter too.
Yours sounds a little more promising.
Ours doesn't grumble. Yeah, we welcomed Sam, a new team member, on Monday.
Ooh.
It's awesome. Pretty exciting. Sam's just finished his 4th year apprenticeship in cabinet making, so he's a real one.
A real one.
Actually qualified, unlike
cool.
most of us here. So that's cool. Always fun to get some fresh injection.
I know that
of
feeling.
People or energy. Yeah. What, the unqualified feeling?
Just like when I've hired people that have multiple people that have had 5 to 15 years in a machine shop, and I'm like, oh, that's how you do those things. I was just guessing.
Yeah. Oh, you don't use hot glue for that. Okay.
For you do use hot glue for that.
Yeah.
Cool. That sounds good.
Yeah. So that's good. And otherwise, business as usual here. We have officially turned off all digital marketing spend. That's a bit of a milestone.
Yeah.
Just gone full cold turkey. And waiting to see what happens. Just sitting here waiting. See if the people still come.
You see the traffic just go.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. I want to see those. I want to see that graph
Yeah.
trend down or not. So yeah. Meanwhile, I'm trying to sort of post regularly and keep the reels flowing. Keep that traffic coming organically, hopefully.
Yep.
And I stumbled across our Pinterest page the other day. It's like, oh, that's right. I forgot about you, Pinterest. And I was looking at it. I was like, oh, yeah, this needs a refresh. A lot of it's like I'd made it really quickly and I just dumped. I think I just synced it with Shopify and I just dumped in all the standard product and that was about it. Very low effort.
Now I want to know what ours is like.
I opened it up. I was like, oh, according to this, it's had like 250,000 impressions in the last 30 days. That's a potential, it's a lot of eyeballs potentially.
It's not bad.
Maybe I should give this a bit more attention. I gave it a quick refresh, but I do intend to get back in there and just kind of just do a little bit of gardening to keep it more in line with our website and our priorities that I'm sure have shifted since we first opened that account and dumped content into it. So yeah, kind of doing the rounds ensuring that, our bios are good on all the platforms and well aligned and
Yeah.
the right links are there and all of that sort of stuff. Just making sure we don't have any like traffic obvious SEO holes with that stuff.
Jeff for the SEO holes.
Jumping down SEO holes again.
Yeah, it is astounding how much traffic there is there, and Pinterest seems to have done a really good job at like. My arm is going up on its own today. Just whoop. They did a really good job somehow of like getting pretty top level search results for everything on Google, right? Like if you would click, search for something, product or otherwise, it would just be like Pinterest would come pretty top of the list for quite a while. I don't know if that's still the case, but I had done the same. I mean, back when Knack was my only thing, I had a photo. I think it was an image I made of one of the calendars go pretty like Pinterest viral. And it's still today from like 2012 or 13 is still being repinned over and over. Like, and it doesn't, I mean, we don't end up getting a ton of sales from it, but at the time it actually did quite a bit for us. And so that was kind of my like, oh yeah, I mean, especially with like how Shopify syncs stuff, you really don't have to do anything. It just kind of works. And it's just another
does its thing.
Pointer for your site, I think.
Yeah, and people pin a pin and then, I don't know, seems to self-perpetuate itself quite nicely.
Snowball, yeah.
Snowball, so yeah. I'll leave that there. Make some improvements.
$250,000 in 30 days?
I think that's what it said, yeah.
Wow, mine's 25,000. That's good.
Yeah, sounds all right. And I've been trying to post a reel a day. Boring. And that's pretty hilarious what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Like sitting on the couch the other night at like 11 p.m. I was like, crap, I need to do that thing. And like dredged through my like archival footage on my phone, just like my iCloud libraries of like, what have I got? And like got back to 2016. I was like, oh, here's some like Clipcrate testing videos that I can't remember if I ever posted properly. And like cut a little reel together in 10 minutes, chucked it up. And it got really, compared to like something that I'd labored over 24 hours earlier and put way more energy into, it got a way better response.
Sure.
So just, reinforced that thinking for me that like people don't want shiny. They just want, me breaking stuff. So I'm happy to keep breaking stuff.
What's become really apparent not apparent. I mean, I've just back to those like people that make videos about making videos, like you see on TikTok or something. I get targeted those maybe because I just watch them too much, but it seems to be completely acceptable anymore to continue to repost videos over and over again on social platforms.
Yeah.
And part of it's that your normal followers don't see them multiple times. They might not even see it once. Like they're just not getting shown like you used to. Since we're not in the linear story mode of news feeds anymore, it's like roulette whether you're going to see somebody's content. And the more you engage with it, I think the more you're going to see something. Like if you like somebody's post, like I think you and I see every post we post because every time we're like, oh, gem, it's like it's very like just normative for us, but we're
riding the same wagon.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
I think it's become like, I know, especially on TikTok, it's almost like encouraged to keep posting the same video until it does well, which is just odd to me.
Blows my mind.
Yeah. But
yeah. I've had that little voice in my head lately of like, should I repost that one? Because it did really well.
Yeah.
Or should I just recut that footage? But I haven't brought myself to doing that yet.
Yeah.
I haven't stooped to that level, but I'm sure I'll get desperate enough. If I'm going to continue this reel a day thing, I'm going to get real hungry.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
I know the scheduling thing's pretty powerful for that now. That you can schedule on the app, like on iOS. You can schedule online in different places.
Yeah.
And I don't have enough like foresight to like make videos in advance. I'm like, I'm going to make a video today. And it's like, I'm a chef, like making my soup for that day. And I can't think about making tomorrow's soup.
Nope. I definitely can't think. I'm one of those people that cannot shop in advance. Like, I can only shop. Yeah, I can buy food for the week to feed my family, but I have absolutely no concept of what I'm going to do with it. And so, pre-children, we used to just like go and shop one meal at a time when we lived in the city. That's the same with, social media. Like, I generally can't think ahead and go, oh, on Saturday I'll post it. Nope. No.
Honestly, if I had to be like really frank about that, I think it's honestly, I want to see, I don't know if I think about this in the moment, but I think I always want to see how it does. Like too soon.
What does?
How the video will perform, right? Like I think this one's gonna, like everyone, it's this like continual optimism of like, this one's gonna do great. And then like the algorithm god says, nope, not today. You didn't give enough sacrifice for this.
Strikes you down. Yeah. Same. Chasing that gratification. Other news here, we had a friend of a friend reach out last week. And a friend of an old client of ours who we used to do, when we were in Melbourne, we did a lot more work for them. They're in Adelaide, which is kind of the neighbouring state, South Australia.
Yep.
And anyway, friend of a friend reached out and he was like, okay, I'm that artist. We were introduced once before. And I'm in Melbourne this weekend. I've got a ute load of paint. Can I come and paint a wall for you? I was like, ooh, yeah, of course. So Lucas has been here all week painting our facade. Bright, shiny colours. So that's been pretty fun.
Very cool. I saw a photo and it's like, oh my God, it was amazing. I'm sure that took quite a bit of time, but from when you introduced him on whatever photo or something of him coming, and then like, it seemed like all of a sudden it was all painted and I was like, whoa, that was so fast. Yeah. Such a change.
Yeah. Such a change. Yeah, I've got some time lapse. I've had a GoPro. Actually, I probably left that out all night. I've had a GoPro out there doing some time lapse, but I'll post that in the coming days. But yeah, it's nice. Sarah's apparently, Jay mentioned it to Sarah because Sarah's off-site in Melbourne. Yeah. So she doesn't see all the naughty things we get up to. And Jay mentioned it to Sarah on the phone, and Sarah's immediate thing was like, are they brand colors? It's like, oh, no, they're just what he had in the truck. They look nice.
But there was a sale. It's magenta and lime green.
But it is, a nice little injection of color. And we've got the Castlemaine State Festival is coming up, and we're going to have an open workshop for a few Saturdays during the festival. So it'll be nice to have a nice, shiny, bright facade for that.
That's cool.
Get some locals in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
What else is happening at your end?
Well, I kind of got back into stuff like this because this is material I've had and it's been ready, but it's never been like a top priority because we've had a blizzard. I think basically right after we talked last week, it started snowing within a couple hours. I did not even know it was supposed to snow. We got 10 inches, quarter of a meter, roughly.
Quarter of a meter? 250 millimeters to the makers out there. Yeah.
And that's
a lot of snow.
That is an enormous amount of snow for a city that has apparently no idea how to handle it at all. Like, I still grew up in the middle of the country where there's like all the weather, and I'm just like frustrated at how inadequate the city is at doing anything about it. Like, they just let it happen. And everybody's just like, all right, well, I don't know how to drive in this, so I'm going to leave my car everywhere. And it was icy. It was not great. But, I mean, other than my complaints about those things, it was pretty nasty. And it ended up delaying a lot of shipments. I had a bunch of stuff incoming for projects, and I actually just got a McMaster package that I ordered that Wednesday after we talked. Like, supposed to be the next day, and I just got it today, like a week later. And so there's like my mother pallet from Pearson was supposed to be shipped yesterday. It's supposed to be here Friday, and that got delayed because California got snow for the first time in like a long time. So it's just been frustrating. It feels stuff with like the pedestals, like things are just kind of like, it's like I'm doomed to never finish them for these stupid, like I'm waiting on stuff to arrive and there's like really like no way to get stuff locally in some cases. It's amazing how reliant, you become on delivered products. Yeah. So it's been a frustrating, but interesting. It's like we got a lot done still in the same regard. Like we finished all our projects on time still, even including a couple of rush jobs.
So you're not snowed in at the shop. You can get
no snow.
to and fro home.
There's no snow since like Friday, and stuff is still delayed.
Okay, so it's just
Monday,
that
Tuesday. Yeah.
Right. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you have any snow days where you couldn't get in at all?
It was important to me personally to be at the shop. So even though it was snowy and a little icy at times, I made it to the shop just fine. But I'm lucky to have capable vehicles, I think. And Ricky didn't come in. His truck is a little poor for the snow. So he worked at home a little bit. And I was on the day after that Thursday, I was the only one on our street at work that was here. Midwest guy comes into work when nobody else does.
With nails in his teeth.
I mean, it's
a light frost.
I've literally been snowed in my house in the Midwest, so it's
yeah.
Just kind of like you get used to certain things. I think a lot of people it's a good excuse to stay home, and I was like, "Ooh, a day to myself in the shop? Thank God, let's do it."
Nice.
So I cleaned some stuff up, cleaned my desk, which is already showing signs of normalcy again. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think both of us need that like desk cam in the new OS update so that we can hold each other to account on the state of our desks because mine is terrible.
New segment, State of the Desk. Jim, you go first.
I had a really funny conversation at Kinder Pickup the other day, actually.
Yeah.
With a new parent, new friend of my daughter and new parent that I'd met. And we somehow got into like talking about comparing how dirty each other's cars were. I was like, oh, if you want to make this a competition, we're winning, hands down. And like, it was just this awesome interaction. Whereas like normally I'd be quite self-conscious about how the state of our car because it's got 2 children in the back of it and it just gets so feral. But we immediately like compared cars and competed and we're like, oh yeah, I can see your flaw. We're winning.
Oh, I have friends with kids and I think it's pretty common, it seems. They don't seem to, those kids don't seem to care. That's all I know.
No. Yeah.
Check this out. Let's see if it works.
Okay,
Ooh,
desk cam.
Studio light. Portrait.
Lighting. Nice.
But does it work? Continue. Oh, I've got a whole thing going on here.
Oh, I think it just went to face tracking mode. Move your head.
Do you see this?
Was
Do you see my
bird?
my shirt? What the heck is going on? Okay,
no.
it's showing me another
see your
view
head.
of my desk, but it's just my chest. Not good.
Oh, you're back.
Okay,
Well, that's
apparently you
interesting.
can't
You still got
do that on a live stream,
soft
I guess.
focus.
Portrait.
Yeah, I really need to set up. It is a very nice camera. Oh, there you go. Head tracking. There you can wiggle around as much
Bet
as
this
you want
is
now.
great
This
podcast.
is amazing
Yeah.
podcast content.
I'll just have to go watch the YouTube, which is growing. We've had massive growth, and I think we're up to 54 followers right now.
That's 10% week over week growth.
You can see Justin pretending to be a bird.
Let's turn this off. It's probably a little distracting. I've never played with this before.
It's quite creepy when it follows you around. Well,
what else
it
we got
might be either.
What's new in Software Corner?
Where do we go? So we do have. How do we always have something for software? I don't understand.
Oh, it's
Always. We did get a positive comment on somebody liking Software Corner, and I always wondered, like, is this
good.
just the worst content for some people? Because it's like, I thought you guys were supposed to talk about CNCs and like making stuff, and we just end up talking about things like LastPass, who has apparently had another
give me the bad news.
massive breach. And the story I heard, I did not read all the article.
Shit.
Apparently, this hacker hacked one of 4 employees who had the master keys to all the cloud environment, including every Vault again off their AWS like repository. And they got into this person's system through their home network. They were working at home. They found some, I don't know if you've heard of Plex, but it's like a home network, like media center system. And there was an insecurity in that. And somehow they got into the network, put a tracking software keylogger on their computer, on the developer's computer, and then tracked them entering their master password in, and then had access to everything in this developer's master password, and had access to all of LastPass on the back end.
Come on.
Completely stolen again. And they at least reported it quicker this time and didn't take months. But what I've heard is there's calls for this company LastPass to shut down because of how poor they've done.
Well,
Which is just like...
might be time for us to migrate.
I brought it up because I know you're still using it. I feel bad, even in the first place, because I recommended so many people to use it for so long, family and friends, and... What was that? That was an interesting noise.
Well, it's just a truck that sounds like it's about to drive through the wall. Yeah, I did. I think we should probably migrate, but it's just
a pain.
Too much work.
Such a pain in the butt.
Such a pain.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that I've got anything for Software Corner this week.
You're using Guru yet? That's still under
Nope.
consideration.
No, we haven't. Still in consideration where to put our knowledge base. Meanwhile, we keep loading stuff into Airtable.
Works.
And yeah, it works. It's not broken. Not quite Software Corner, but I do have Electrical Engineering Corner.
Pew pew pew.
As like, you need a space coffee.
Crickets.
Sounds like a urinal with a phaser attached. No, in electrical engineering news, I have been continuing to research a couple of things around the pencil sharpener. First and foremost is the USB electrical interference issue that we continue to get on it,
Yeah.
where it just throws up this error mid-cycle, and you have to like either fully reset the machine, or sometimes you can just reload the file and start again. But because of the bar feed, you got to often take the stock out and take it over to the saw and cut the end off and retrim it and put it back in the machine. And so it's just a real pain for production. And it's this kind of, it's this gremlin that just chucks up this error seemingly at random. But I asked John to track it for a few days, and we started to see a bit of a pattern in it. And then I bought some of those ferrite magnet things that wrap around the cable and tried those on all different cables, thinking that it was like a back EMF from the spindles themselves as they stopped, because it kind of seemed to correlate with when the spindles were turning off, maybe that voltage coming back. Anyway, those things didn't do anything. And then I Googled around a bit more, and I can't believe it took me this long to find this link, but I found a link on the Masso forums talking pretty specifically about what sounded like the same error or gremlin. And they recommend putting a diode, a specific like power arresting diode over the relay solenoids, which control the pneumatics.
Okay.
So every time the chucks turn off, on and off with their rotary pneumatic actuators, it's potentially, sending back EMF, whatever it is, back up into the control. So those diodes just turned up the other day. So one of my little missions in the coming week is to try and solder those diodes across the relay contacts, which I'm really not looking forward to doing, because diodes have always confused me about what they do and which direction to place them. Anyway, I'll follow the instructions.
I just Googled what a diode
see what
is, so
happens.
behind you on that one.
Yeah. And the other thing with the pencil sharpener is, now that we've got an enclosure, we want to put a door interlock on it.
Yeah.
And the Masso's got, a door switch, obviously. So again, just need to get over my fear of opening the control and sticking wires in there in the wrong, hopefully not in the wrong spot. But that should be pretty easy to fit. So I'm going to try and do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having a day off in the shop tomorrow. By myself.
Are you looking forward to
Very
it?
much looking forward to it. Yeah, I can't wait. I've got a long, ambitious list of things.
For sure.
We'll see.
Yeah. No, I do like, I don't even know what I did, honestly. I don't remember anymore, but it felt really productive, like getting rid of stuff. And, there's just like something sitting around for weeks. And I'm like, no, what is this doing here? Get it out of here. Or I've done a decent amount of organizing in the mill room too, which has been nice. Put that camera up. We talked about that last week. But I don't know. That kind of like control editing stuff, it takes a thing like a day off for me like that. I guess what you would call like, surgery of some sort, right? It's you can't be distracted in my mind to like fix things like post processors or even machining a new thing. Sometimes in the mills, I have to like Ricky is really conscientious about that, not interrupting when you're trying to focus on something that feels like it's going to potentially crash or something. I get that.
Yeah, surgeon mode, as the bomb.
Yeah,
Johns would have it.
As John.
Be the surgeon.
Johns.
The Bomb Johns. I like it.
But it's interesting. You've been having that power issue for a while, but it just came up, I suppose, right now. The Shop Saber, twice, once last week, and yesterday, has just, the control PC is just like turned off. It's
mid-cycle.
It's on a power backup, like UPS. So apparently that battery doesn't work. I know those things go bad over time. I've had a few. So
they do.
Yeah, no, it's running both times, and luckily it does not fail into a bad situation.
That's
it would
good.
be real bad if it was like stopped in the middle of a dusty cut, deep into a cut, and it would just basically be a fire.
Does the spindle? Hang on. Does the machine stay up? The spindle stay up, but the control just dies.
That is one major flaw that I feel like I found, where you hit the E-stop, it does not stop the spindle for some reason. So when we first moved into this space, I knew this from last time, I wanted our electrician to put a shutoff for the spindle right next to the machine, because I knew this problem happened, and they forgot or didn't do it. And so we had a couple situations where it was real dicey, and I had him come back and put it in, because it was like, man, once you just kind of, panic when something goes wrong like that. And, it takes a bit of training people to, you don't immediately see fire starting, right? When it's buried under a dust boot and under the spoil board and all that stuff. But it's like, you have to know the conditions for when that can happen. It's been either the computer's going bad. We also thought potentially the table saw is on the, I thought it was on a different circuit, but apparently it was on the same circuit. Seems to be triggering it, and the power backup's not working. I don't know. I hate when stuff like this happens, where it's like there's no good reason for it yet, but we're gonna have to find it. That's kind of like the worst case scenario, is your machine just stops running mid-cycle and you don't know why.
Well, yeah, particularly if you've got a big job on there. Like you were cutting some huge bits of foam I saw the other day. What was that about?
Kind of foam mold. So
okay,
we didn't. It's one of those don't get enough information, but 50 inches, and all told,
huge.
Let's say easy to machine, because that kind of polystyrene is just like you could throw anything at it. And the complication was it was a rush job, so there was no backup situation, and you mess up once, then you miss the timeline. And apparently we should be doing more, so I guess that was a test. Good job.
Cool.
Kind of thing that I like to do, where it's unique and has a little bit of challenge to it, and maybe not a lot of people want to tackle it. So yeah.
Sweet. Great. Yeah, when you posted, I was like, oh, Justin's finally doing that 3D topo map that he always says never converts.
Architects. No. Not an architect. Some kind of
cool
form or something.
Yeah, sweet. Nice. Yeah. Should schedule a hangout for our Patreons. Thanks to everyone on the Patreon for supporting the show. Much appreciated. We are working towards a point where we could maybe offload a little bit of editing support as the support builds. Meanwhile, it's just, funding Justin's soda habit. But that's fine. That's important.
No, it's funding our new Descript bill. It keeps increasing for no reason at all.
Come on, Descript.
Either. Yeah.
Yeah, but we are about to schedule our first quarterly hangout, which will be an international Zoom of some sort, where our Patreons can tune in and we'll have a chat. So yeah, I think ChatGPT has organized a good time slot for us, but we'll post about that very soon.
We were going back and forth, like, when is a good time? Time zones are hard. So I was like, when would be a good time for a hangout between these two cities? And it was like, 10 a.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Melbourne time. And I was like, God, that was really easy. Why are we so bad at this? So I think that's going to be the time, unless we think of any other reason, but we just need a date. So maybe we'll put a
Lock it in.
poll on this description of the product, and
that's a good idea.
we can see when people might be available, since we both want to be there, but also we want you all that are part of the
Yeah, we want you
thing,
guys to
so-
be able to make it soon.
I'd say
Obviously, it's for you.
the other thing about it would be, I don't really know topically what to chat about, so you could come with topics, or we could maybe in the poll have something that you want to talk about too, because
Just
we talk about too much stuff already. So what do you want to talk about?
be just a really awkward session with crickets in the background. Do you know what? I have an anecdote on crickets, actually. We've been hand raising this baby bird at home, which Laura saved. It had fallen out of a nest, a little swallow. And it's been living in our house for the last month as they hand raise it until it's healthy enough to release into the wild. But she's been buying buckets of live crickets to feed it. So we've just got these buckets of crickets in the house that are just happily chirping away
Oh boy.
24/7.
Oh boy.
That's all they can hear.
Ugh. God. How long do they live in a bucket? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know, weeks. It's it's a cheap white noise machine though. If you need a white noise machine, just go down to your local pet shop and get a bucket of crickets. In nature in a bucket.
Oh man, that's great. Crickets.
Crickets.
Cool.
Yeah. Short
Crickets.
crickets.
Well,
yeah.
We'll see you next time, I
See you
suppose.
next time. See you, man.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. God, that was a hectic night. I think I counted 11 get-up/wake ups between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m.
Wow.
But the next day I was just destroyed.